the recording. And please know, if you want to hop in the seat to ask a question, feel more than free to do that. But today I wanted to talk about transformation empowerment coach in coaching, and why I do what I do, and why I call it empowerment coaching. And I call it transformation coaching, because I know a lot of people are using these buzzwords, and that, it's kind of a fad right now. And so I want you guys to know that I actually do believe that my coaching is transformational, and it is empowering, because I lived it. I don't just come out here and say, okay, I think this is a good concept, try it. I've actually worked my own process, and most coaches, if they want to be worth their salt, they will work their process. They don't coach you from a place of, I think this will work. They coach you from a place that I know it'll work, because it's transformed my life, because it's empowered me to be the person that I am today. And so let's start off first with what it is. What is transformation empowerment coach? I know a lot of people say that I'm a transformation coach. A lot of people say I'm a empowerment coach. I haven't seen very many in the arena that I've stepped into where I bring both to the table, and I've kind of married them. First of all, what happens when you come in and you coach with me? I try not to coach people less than 12 weeks. And I'm going to give you the reason for that. I believe that for real transformation, there has to be a time, there has to be a process that you can walk through. And that can't be done in one session. It can't be done in a month. It can't be done in 2 weeks. You have to give it some time. So I normally ask my clients to do a 3-month. I have a 3-month, a 6-month, and a 12-month package that I offer if you want to do one-on-one coaching with me. But I always ask them to at least do the 12-week or the 3-month. And the reason why is because week number 1, what I do is I try to take them through. Again, I tried to categorize this so I can sound, like I'm not going all over the place. But I try to help them identify what's holding them back. And then we get in and we identify that voice that's telling them that they can't be or do what it is that they desire to do. So we identify what it is in the 2nd week. Or I call it kind of, name that tune, name that voice kind of thing. Then we go into the 3rd week where we work on you giving yourself permission to free yourself of that, giving yourself permission to forgive, giving yourself permission to let go of that past hurt, because I move you from the pain of your past to your purpose. I can't do that if you're not willing to let go. So we work on allowing you to accept the permission from yourself to forgive, to stop hating, to stop speaking poorly to yourself, to stop being your worst enemy. Then week number 4, we work on forgiveness for yourself. Week 5, we then turn it outwards, because once you can forgive yourself, then you can forgive others. So then week 5, we work on the forgiveness for others. Then week 6, we kind of allow you to settle in that freedom, allow you to settle in that you're walking in forgiveness. And so there's things that still come up, because when you see that person, sometimes you still get that, I don't really like that person. So we allow you to say, okay, when I see this person, how am I going to respond, and set new behavior, new habits. So you're not going backwards, Week 7, we discover what makes you feel alive. What makes you want to get up in the morning? I like to say it this way. You'll hear me say it a lot when I'm coaching. Why do you exist? Why are you here? We ask these kind of questions. Sometimes we ask them that. Okay, where was I? I was on week 7, I believe, right? What makes you feel alive? So why do you exist? We say this, I know I say it a lot to people, they'll come and I'm like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And I'm just talking about, why are you in my house? Why are you, why are you walking up to me? Why are you in this place? But more importantly, when I'm coaching, why are you on earth? I mean, you were born for a reason, believe it or not. You are here because you have something to give to the world. And so why do you exist? What makes you come alive? What makes you wake up in the morning? And sometimes it's not what you're doing. What you're doing is just a means to an end. And so we want to get you in a place where you're absolutely doing what it is. Now, I'm not saying go out and quit your job. That may not be the answer, but be open to it. Okay. So, discover what makes you come alive. Week number 8, we go into creating dreams. And and I always say dream big, dream as far as you can. Just, sit down and really live that thing out. Really, what does the flower look like that you passed on the street when you're walking in your ideal life? What does the house look like? What does the car look like? What does the air smell like? I mean, I want you to live it. I want you to create that dream, because if you can get your senses into that dream, you're more apt to want to opt into it, or you're more apt to want to opt into it, right? It's not me talking you into it. It's you saying, I really want that. So create your dreams. Week number 9, we choose the life you want to live. And I shouldn't really say you want to live. I think I should say the life you were created to live, because if we're here for a reason, then we were created to live a certain type of life, a certain style of life. We were created to do certain things. And so it's not really a want. It's kind of, this is who I am. It becomes a part of me. 10, we declare our deepest desires. 11, and I'm saying our because I'm your coach, so I'm kind of your partner in this. I'm your accountability partner in this. And then number 11, we allow yourself to step into your the truest version of yourself and really live that thing out and not go backwards, because transformation means that you change. It means that you create a different type of atmosphere for yourself. You don't go back to the same old atmosphere. That's why when you're talking to people that used to be on drugs or addicted to something, has some type of addictive behavior, they sometimes have to change their friends. They can't hang out with the same people that they used to hang out with because they're doing the things that they don't want to do anymore. So they have to change. They have to change their atmosphere. They have to change how they do things. And so that's what transformation is. And then the empowerment is you understanding that you can be and do differently. Just because your parents told you that this is the way things are doesn't mean that this is the way things are. And I'm not saying your parents lied to you, but mostly we get into this generational thing. I do what my mother did. My mother does what her mother did. Her mother did what, and it goes on and on and on. And it's stuff that's passed down that's not even relevant. And so we get in this rut and we don't get past this rut. So there's 5 transitional questions that I ask people when they first come to me. I ask them, number 1, what is your pain? Number 2, what's the resolution? Number 3, why are you stuck? Number 4, what's the process? And number 5, what's the first step? Because again, it's always making you think forward. It's not allowing you to go back. Now, we do have to heal some things that have happened in your past, because what I recognized in my own life is that the things that I had been through caused me to make decisions for today. So I didn't trust people, and I didn't trust people not because of the person standing in front of me. I didn't trust people because of what people had did to me when I was younger, or what people did to me yesterday. So it had nothing to do with the person standing right here in front of me. This person could be awesome and trustworthy and all of that, but I would not trust them because of my past. And so we have to deal with your past and that, but it's not to get you stuck there. It's not to make you, relive it, or things of that nature. It's let's see why you are making the decisions you're making today. And once I understand why you're making those decisions, then we do things to actively combat that, to change that, to transform that, and to empower you to think differently. So Transformation Empowerment Coach does these things. It's self-discovery. It gives you fresh eyes to look at from a different perspective. It's teaching you how to, I should say, training you how to look at things differently than you have been. It's changing your language. It's changing the way you speak over yourself. It's doing all of that. And of course, because I'm a Christian, I do bring in the spiritual aspect of it, because I believe that the Bible is true. And, people say that the Bible is, basic instructions before leaving earth. But I believe that the Bible is basic instructions for being here on earth. It's to allow us to be able to interact with one another the way that God intended us to interact with one another. Whether, and I need you to hear this, whether you believe God or not, whether you believe in him or not, there's just common courtesy things that need to happen. And we as human beings should incorporate those things. It's just good, clean living. It's good, clean understanding. If I want to be a better person, then I have to treat others the way that I want to be treated. And if I'm not treating people the way that I want to be treated, then I get what I get, because the process of sowing and reaping, it's not just for money. It's for every area of your life. If you sow anger, you're going to get back anger. The Bible says here, if you sow the wind, you're going to reap the whirlwind. And so we have to understand that. So if I am sowing distrust, if I am sowing anger, if I'm sowing not being lovable, if I'm sowing all of these things into my atmosphere, then that's what I'm going to reap. And so Transformation Empowerment Coaching allows you to understand that, and allows you to apply that principle to who you are and become a better you. Paul, I see you up there. So did you have a question or a comment?
Linda, I just want to say you're hitting the spot right now.
Oh, thank you, sir.
That's good. It's a good word. That's a good word.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So came at the right time.
You're welcome. And so you do self-discovery, you get a fresh new eyesight. It develops stronger communication, because if I can't tell you what I want, how do you know what I want? And so many of us, because we can't express it out of our mouth, we get what we don't want, and we focus on what we don't want. So we need better communication skills. It helps us with better relationships. I'm not a relationship coach, but I guarantee you, if you coach with me, your relationships then become better, because if you understand who you are and you understand how to appreciate the person that you're in a relationship with, guess what? It gets better, right? I'm just saying 2 + 2 = 4. It helps you let go of limiting beliefs. It enhances your decision making. It gives you greater focus, more accountability. It gives you the ability to take action. The ability to take action. I hear so many people say, I want this. I want this. And, one day I'm going to do this. And someday my life is going to be like this. And someday, coaching gives you that ability to step out and make someday, one day, in the future sometime become now. because I always say now is new opportunities waiting. So you got to move now. You can't wait. Tomorrow is not promised to any one of us. So we need to live our best life today. We need to live it this second, this moment. So why I do what I do is because, like I said, I lived a hard life. And when I got into my young adulthood, I was like, is this how life is always going to be? Is it always going to be this mirage of bad emotions and, you know, me making bad decisions based on this and based on that and not being able to heal from this and, you know, having all of these negative people come into my life? Is this what my life is going to be like? Because if it is, I don't want to be here. And it wasn't a suicidal thought. It was just kind of like, you know what, take me now, you know, just take me out of this place. Yes, I was in church. Yes, I was a minister. I was all of that. But I didn't want to continue if this was going to be the life that I had to live through. And I remember the realization coming to me and saying, that's not how I created you. That's not what I created you for. And I then went on a journey, which is the process that I'm taking all of my clients through, because what I found out is that this process is duplicatable. It is something that I can do, something that you can do, and we both will get results. I got results, you'll get results. All my other clients are getting results. And so since it's something that can be replicated, then that's why I do what I do, because I want to help people. I don't want hurting people to continue to hurt, because the old saying about hurt people, it's true. I hurt other people because I was hurting. And because I was hurting and I didn't realize that what I was doing was damaging, I thought I was protecting myself. And so there's a lot of people out there making decisions with the thought process that I'm keeping myself safe. But what they're doing is they're leaving a line of carnage behind them. And so I don't want someone to have to go back and undo things that I had to undo, because you don't have to. You can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from my life, and you don't have to do those things. You may not be as far into it like I was. I did a lot of bad things, and, you know, and then I understand there are people that are worse off than me. There are people that did, you know, worse things than I did. But nonetheless, what I found is something that works and it transforms, and you don't go backwards. You don't go backwards. I haven't gone backwards. I've been living this way and doing this. Does that mean that I never have a problem? Absolutely not. But it means when a problem comes my way, I have a healthy way of getting things done. Does that mean that I still don't have people that are negative in my life? Absolutely not, because some of those people I'm related to. Guess what? You can't just cut off people that you're related to, I found out. You know, you got to hang out with them. So you got to have something that when all of this is coming at you, you have something that's going to help you stay in your lane, stay where you belong, and not get drudged into other things and not get drugged into this and that. And, you know, it's just not. And then what I found out is that when you do this and people see the absolute difference in you, now you get people attracted to you and they say, hey, how did you work that out? How did you change? You know, they start to see that. I don't have to tell people that I changed. When someone comes in that has seen me and they've seen me from this area and they see me now, they immediately know. I just went to a funeral of my mentor and I saw people that knew me when I was 6 years old coming up, and all of them came up to me and said, oh my God, you have changed so much. You don't look a day this and this. You know, they were talking about me not looking older, but they were like, you are so different. I didn't have to say anything. That's what clean living does. That's what transformation does. That's what being empowered to be who you were created to be does for you. And so now that's everything that I had. That's why I do what I do. If you have any questions, any comments, you guys can feel more than free to sit in that seat, because I want to have conversations. Here comes Mr. Scott Glenn, Mr. Transformation himself.
Hi, Miss Linda.
Hey.
Hey, quick question. Let's say someone doesn't know the process of transformation, but yet they know they want change. Mm-hmm. What would you say to someone that might not know that the desire of change? How do I put this? What would you say to someone that might not know the thought that they want something different is really the process of transformational thinking? Does that make sense?
Yes. I think that most people feel unfulfilled if they don't understand, they're living their life, but there's just something missing. And they know that something is not right. As like I like to say, the elevator's not going all the way up to the top. It's stopping before it gets to the penthouse. And even though they don't know exactly what it is, they may not think about transformation or change or anything like that. They know something is missing. And so then I go through a process of asking them questions that will get them to say, you know what, I'm missing something. I don't quite know what it is, but I want them to verbalize that they know something is wrong. Because once they can know something is wrong, then it's easier for me to introduce the transformation. If someone, if they're like, well, I go to work and I'm cool, I'm good where I'm at, I normally step away from that person. Now they'll come to my blabs, they'll come to my periscopes, they'll hang out, come to my events, but I'm not pursuing them as a client until they can say, you know what, there is something not catching. There's something's not right. And once I get them there, then you can introduce transformation. I think that a lot of coaches try to convince people that they need change. I don't convince people that they need change. I need it to come from a real place, because what I found that my clients, if it comes from a real place, they're going to do the work. You don't have to keep telling them to do the work. They're going to do the work because they realize something is missing.
Yeah. So do you think there's ever, or do you believe there's ever an arrival point in the process of transformation to where someone can sense, like, there's a lot of times where, and I know you have it, because this is just the way people think, but the process of their thought is they're on this rat wheel running after something that's out there in front of them, this dangling carrot, not realizing that the transformation really is from the inside out. So it's not on the outside that they're. So where does that aha moment come in your process of coaching to where they realize, like, aha, I am transformed. I just have to believe it,
Yeah. I think it comes when they get their first, they have an issue and they have to solve the issue. And then they're sitting in front of me and they're frustrated. And they're like, this person came up to me and they said such and such and such and such, and I did X, Y, Z. And then I'm like, wait, what did you just say you did? And they're like, I did this and that. And I'm like, okay, so how did you come about doing it that way? Because when you first came to me, you would have done it like this. And then it clicks. Oh, it's here. I am happy. I am, this is better. This is better. And thus I'm making different choices. And so they begin to see it, but I don't think it's like an aha moment, like when you're coaching with someone. And I know you know this, when you're coaching with someone, when they really get it, you can tell in their eyes, oh, they just got it. They just had that moment. But I think it's an even deeper moment when they're talking and they don't realize it. And then you say, wait a minute, let's kind of unpack this and let's see what you just really said. And then it's that moment right then that they see, and then they can go back and see all the little steps that they've taken to get to that point.
Yeah. And then one other question. Do you encourage, you often hear a lot of people make this statement, well, if you would have known me 3 years ago, you wouldn't have talked to me like that. Well, if you would have known me 3 years ago, I've totally changed, and you're lucky you didn't know me 3 years ago because I would have knocked the mess out of you. Da, da, da. Do you encourage that type of talk to where people actually revert back to if you would have known me? Or, how would you encourage someone that continuously says that? If you would have known me 3 years ago, because their mind has taken them back 3 years, like, what would you address with someone like that?
I think I do things a little bit different because part of my process is to heal them of their past. And then I would ask them, okay, so let's talk about 3 years ago. Because if you would have known me 10 years ago, you wouldn't be sitting here talking to me like that, So let's talk about why you felt you needed to be that way 3 years ago and why you don't feel the need to be that way today. And so you kind of, I call it self-coach. You kind of sit back and let them coach themselves out of that type of talking. Because we all got you wouldn't talk to me like that X amount of years ago, but somehow you have to get past that. And I think sometimes when they're saying that, they feel threatened. And so they want to intimidate. And I'm not easily intimidated.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Not at all. The inner work is important. Transformation shows up in the new dialogue. It's like rewriting their life script. Exactly. It totally is. And I don't even think that it's rewriting it. It's just helping someone realize that you were living this alternate lifestyle all along, because this is who you are. If what I believe is what I believe, then this is what you were created to do. This is how you were created. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the thoughts and plans I have. So God has already had a plan for you. This is you walking that plan and accepting it and knowing that it's the right way and it's not a made up way. It's not what other people think. It's not what you were taught to think. Because many of us were taught to think certain ways or certain, we were talking about this last night in a blab where parents will say, well, this is the only way you can make money. And to me, it's ludicrous. I'm like, what do you mean? This is the only laying down is the only way you can make money, or this is the only way you can make money. But that's what they were taught. And so they would rather do this than go out and get a job, or they would rather do that instead of living the life that they know or were created to make. So it's not rewriting, it's developing what's already on the inside. It is on the inside of them. It's their fingerprint, it's their blueprint of life. And so it's us rolling it out before them and letting them see that it is doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, rewriting the spoken word. I agree totally with that. So Daphne, you should get up here too, lady. Come on up. You coming up, Daphne? Daphne is another coach. Programming sometimes needs to be unlearned. Exactly. I believe that any negative reinforcement needs to be relearned and undid. You have to renew your mind. You have to renew your mindset. I know Scott he deals more with the mindset, and I deal with mindset because you can't go into transformation without dealing with the mindset. But I think his focus is a little bit more on that, and my focus is on the healing aspect of it. It's on, if I can get you to heal, you'll make a choice and your mindset will automatically change, because you're no longer reinforcing that negative behavior. You're no longer allowing that behavior or somebody else's behavior, which you cannot control, you're not allowing that to control you any longer, especially with people that have gone through like sexual assault or sexual abuse or physical abuse. You know, sometimes the victim takes on, well, I must have done something to cause that. But what does a 6-year-old do to make a grown man want to have sex with them? I don't think there's anything that 6-year-old can do. What does a woman walking home from work or getting in her car from work or anywhere, I don't care if she's coming out of a nightclub, what does she do to make this man decide that he wants to violate her? There's nothing. And so the society that we live in, it's so mixed up that the victim becomes the culprit, and who does that? And so we have to change that mindset. We have to change how they see it. They got to heal from it so they understand that no, there was nothing I did to deserve this. I don't care if I was the worst person on earth. There's nothing I did to deserve someone attacking me and violating me. And so, and I went to that extreme because that's the most visual one that we can get to, but it's real. You don't do anything to cause somebody to do things to you. I remember when I was a bully, there was one instant where I told the girl, every time I see you, we're going to fight. What did she do, Linda? I don't even know. I think the girl just kind of bumped me or something. I mean, it was something lame, but I was like, every time I see you, I'm going to fight you. She did nothing. She did nothing to warrant that type of behavior from me, but that's what she got. And so when I talk about this, I talk about it not just from the victim, because I told you I went through abuse. I don't talk about it just from the victim standpoint, but I talk about it also from the one being the bully or being the instigator or the aggressor, if you will. So I think my life qualifies me. I'm just saying. Hey, Scott, welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you. Hey, you had just brought up a great point, and I wanted to pick your brain on what you stated about when a girl walks out of a bar. There is and I am in full agreement, there is nothing that would condone such a behavior.
Exactly.
But when you are talking, when you are talking the law of attraction, there's an element that those that have a victimized mentality, when you're addressing the law of attraction, they get real offensive because they're like, why didn't it attract that to me? And da 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 da. What is the line? Because you've stated a couple times that you operated out of the victimized mentality too. If someone came to you while you were in that state and said, you know what, Linda, there is a law of attraction that is working, that you are attracting to you these different things, but yet ain't no way that somebody attracts a rape. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What is that line that you would speak to someone with a victimized mentality to say, you know what, you can have better, just start thinking, and that's what you attract, but their mind won't allow the switch to take place of what happened to them, because they always revert back to, well, if the law of attraction is true, I didn't think that I wanted to be raped. I didn't think that I wanted to be abused. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And basically what I do, because I was that girl, and someone did come to me and said, Linda, it's not so much the way you present yourself, but it's the things that you do that causes people to think that you are a easy prey. And I was upset. I was like, what do you mean? I'm a fighter. I will kick your butt. What are you talking about? If anything, I should be repelling people from me. And I remember what they told me. They said, how do you feel about yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? And actually, that was my first coaching session that I took with someone. She said, I want you to go home and I want you to get completely nude and I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and I want you to write down everything you like about yourself. And she said, put nothing that you don't like, everything that you like or love about yourself. And I remember when I came back, my list was like 3 or 4 things because everything that I saw was ugly. And, you know, I was just like, ugh, you know, put me in somebody else's skin. And I think by me doing that, it let me know that if I feel this way about myself, then it opens up the door for someone else to feel this way about me. And it wasn't really that I attracted or deserved to be raped or abused or anything like that. It was just, I thought myself to be a toilet and people use me as a toilet. So that made me want to change the way I think about me and not so much, you know, think about what other people had did to me, because now I'm looking at, I don't like myself. So why would other people like me?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You know, I mean, it's never making them feel like a victim, but there are things that we do to ourselves that causes us to not be as aware of what's around us.
Yeah. Good. Love it.
So any other questions? I think this is a good dialogue. I think that if, you know, for those of you that are watching the replay, I think I've given you some good things. I tried to pull out just the nuts and bolts because I didn't want this, you know, this blab to go on forever. But I did want to, because I get this question a lot. What, you know, you're a transformation empowerment coach. What does that mean? And so I decided to really sit down and think this out and then present it to you guys in a way that I think that it would be bite-sized and you can digest it and think about it. So when you come to me and you're like, Linda, I think I want to do, you know, service with you, you know exactly what it's going to be. Because I've had people come to me and said, I thought you were a coach. I didn't know you were going to get this deep. I didn't want to go this deep. And so we get deep. Just know when you come to me, you're jumping into the deep end of the pool. And if you don't know how to swim, don't worry, I got you. But we are jumping into the deep end of the pool because we got to get to the root of the matter in order for you to have full transformation. One of the things I like to talk about is the butterfly. And we all know that the butterfly is a caterpillar before it becomes a butterfly. And the caterpillar, there's 2 ways to look at it. The caterpillar only lives two weeks. However, it eats everything in its path, right? So it's destructive, really. I mean, when you really think about it, it destroys gardens. It destroys everything it comes in contact. It's just eating. Well, it eats because when it goes into the cocoon, that becomes its only nourishment, is its own self. The body that the caterpillar has becomes the nourishment for the butterfly. And so the caterpillar will eat all of itself, right? For a few cells, I think it says, that belong to the butterfly, and then it will rebuild itself. And so when you come to transformation empowerment coaching, I'm taking a destructive manner or behaviors, and we are putting you into a cocoon of coaching, and we are allowing you to work out your stuff in that cocoon. So when you emerge, you are this beautiful butterfly, and no one will ever, you know, they won't know where you come from. I love when people tell me, you know what, I would have never thought you were, you know, people that just meet me, I would have never thought you were this, or I would never thought you did this or that. I love that, because that means when I came out of the cocoon, I did the total transformation, and I don't have the stench of my destructive behavior on me. I don't have the any kind of residue of that. And so that's what true transformation is. That's why I do what I do, because when I see it, I mean, I saw it in myself, and when I see it in you, and when I see it in others, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, we all love a butterfly. You know, we will go out. I'm actually talking to a couple of friends. We want to go to some field where there's a whole bunch of butterflies and watch them rise up. And, you know, we want to go see the butterfly. I don't see anyone trying to go see the caterpillar, you know? So it's just interesting to me that, you know, not everybody wants to get that deep. But I mean, if you come to me, we get deep. So said all that to say, you come to me, we get deep, and you will experience change.
Welcome, America. Hi.
Hello. Do you have a question for me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good.
Okay.
You too much beautiful.
Well, thank you, sir. I can't see you, so I don't know if you're beautiful or not. That's a beautiful fan you have in your house, though.
You too much face nice.
Oh, thank you.
Check this.
Oh, okay.
Hi. How old are you?
Hello.
How old are you?
Excuse me?
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell you that. If I tell you that, I have to kill you.
Maybe.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a lovely evening or day wherever you are.
In Arabia, yes.
So yes. So yeah, any other questions? Here he comes again. Any other questions? Because I am willing to answer the questions. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Those of you that are live with me, those of you that are watching the replay, thank you so much. You know, I like sharing what I do with the world, and you know, my website hopefully will be up sometime later this evening. LindaHillmanInspires.com. You can go there and read up more about what it is that I do. And if you want to set up a session with me, you can do it through the through my website. I do have coaching programs that you can do, because I know some people they're not ready for the one-on-one. So there are coaching programs that you can do. I have War for My Mind, which is totally about mindset, and it helps you overcome that mindset of destructive behaviors and that mindset of talking to yourself negatively, and opens you up to the possibilities of what Scott was talking about the thank you so much, about the God, I forgot what he just said. He's a mindset guy, so he was talking about mindset, but it just it was there and then it was gone. I think that I'm thinking about that troll, because that's what I do. I think about things in the back of my head because I'm very analytical. But it'll help you. War from My Mind will help you get to that point where you can then sit down and have a real conversation and really dive into what happened in your life and why it happened, and how you can overcome it and how you can heal from it. Because until you heal totally, you will always make decisions based on what happened in the past. And when you make a decision for today, the decisions you make for today are going to be what you reap tomorrow. And so we have to make sure that we're healed from the past so we can move on purpose, intentionally. So I have that. I have War from My Mind. I also have a confidence training that I'm doing actually right now. We're in the midst of it. you can still go and sign up for it. But it's a 15-day intensive coaching program where I'm teaching you how to build your confidence. And so I'm excited because the last time I did it, it was like really good. A lot of people walked in thinking, this is Linda and this is what we're going to get. And when they got into it, they're like, oh no, this is Linda. Wow. So yeah. So I'm excited about that too. Let's see, what else will you find? You'll find my books. I have books that you can buy on my website that will be available. They're on Amazon, but they will also be available on my website. So there's a lot of good stuff that's coming. I'm trying to do you share pricing, or is that on the website? It is on the website. The confidence program that I'm doing right now is $197. War for My Mind, I believe, is $497. I believe it's $497. I think we just raised it. All of these are 12-week courses, exactly. So it's 3 months, 90 days. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, if you coach with me one-on-one, yeah, and it's because it's a self-study. So it's not you don't have that one-on-one access with me. So you're actually with War for My Mind, you get 12 CDs. So it's 1 CD a week. With the 15-day coaching, this is something new. So I'm more active in it right now. We're going through it together, but eventually it will just be 15 DVDs that you watch, and they're 30 minutes to 45 minutes long, and you just watch them at your leisure. So that's why they're not, extravagant priced. Yes, you can go one-on-one with me if you have questions. I do have a consultation that I give. It's not a free consultation. I have a 15-minute consultation and a 30-minute consultation that I give for people. I used to do free, and I stopped doing free because I give so much in that 15 minutes, I give so much in that 30 minutes that whether you have an hour with me or not, you kind of walk away with it because I'm always giving. That's who I am. And so I don't do free consultations, but here on Blab, here on Periscope, or I should say on Periscope, I have a Facebook community that I'm starting. It just started, called Destined Achievers. And so in there, that's where I give all my free content. And right now, if you go to my website right now, LindaHillmanInspires.com, you can actually get my latest book that's coming out, Start Strong, Finish Strong. You can get that book for free before it launches on March the 1st. So if you go there right now, counting the hours down, you go right now, you can actually get that book. And that gives you kind of a flavor of, a test of my voice, having Linda sit in front of you and actually coach you. One more question. Do you offer a discount of sorts since we know you are here on Blab? Yeah, I could do that. I hadn't thought about that. So thank you, Scott, for bringing that up. Yeah. What I'll do is, if you watch this and you want any of my services, whether it's one-on-one or one of my coaching programs, we'll do this. We'll do Blab. So if someone can write this in, I'm getting ready to give you guys a code, and then I'm going to run to my web designer and make sure it works. So give me 20 minutes after we quit to get that up and running. But you can do Blab 19, since today is the 19th. So Blab 19, and you can use that, and I will give you 20% off of any service that you want. So there you have it. Blab19. That is the code. That is the code. Blab19. That way I know that you saw this video or you were in this Blab session. And this is something that's only for Blab because I'm not even periscoping this. I was supposed to, and I forgot to go on live on Periscope. So only you guys get it. That is you. 20%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah. And you know, and Linda's not the type, because my coach told me that I was the best kept secret and that I needed to stop giving stuff away at discounted prices, because her thing was, and I said this when I was on the Blab with Daphne, her thing was that if you charge $2,500 for your services and then you discount it, and you know, I'm doing the extreme here, but you discount it and give it to somebody, the $2,500 worth of services, you give it for $75. And I'm thinking, why did I pay her 25 when I could have got it for 75? So I don't do a lot of discounting. So, but for you guys, because, you know, hey, you know, I like you guys. I like you. So we're doing that. So yeah. And you know what? I just saw, I need for Brown Boy, I need you to step up here because I need to ask you a question, young man. So if you can get on camera. No, I don't know his name. Is his name Curtis, Daphne? Is that who you're saying, hey, Curtis, to? Curtis, okay. So yeah, Curtis, if you can pop up here. I need to ask you a question because I have an audio book that someone was working on and they stopped working on it, and I need to get it done. And I think that's what your expertise is in. So I would love for you to come up and answer my question. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Who was that was just knocking like that? I've got to see them. I like them.
My brother, Chagall.
Brother, come over here and introduce yourself.
They want to see you because they heard you knocking on the door. They want to see who was knocking on my door.
Who was that? Don't put me on the website.
Well, you shouldn't have knocked on the door like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, hey, Mark. So, boy, check, right?
Start the recording again and let you tell us.
Well, Concepts That Work is a multifaceted coaching, profession that I started about 5 years ago. And my passion in being a transformational coach, I'm a speaker, singer, is really to equip and encourage individuals nationwide, globally, in their personal and or professional development through what I call an inspired and creative coaching business. So, through all of my years meeting people, I've really recognized that people are hungry for a transformation. They're hungry for an experience that will really provoke change and speak life of it. Exactly what you were just saying. People don't know. They think, well, I've been like this for 40 some years. And what do you mean I need to change or I can change? They just don't know how that takes place. So what I do, and actually what Linda does too, I mean, you heard her at her Blab. We take people on a self assessment discovery. Coaching gets confused a lot of times with advice. We don't give advice. We don't do therapy. It's not counseling. We're not delving into the past. Our main goal, well, at least mine is, I really can't speak for Linda, is to really set goals for the future. and you know, let people know. I mean, Dr. Seuss has the best quote that there is no one youer than you. So when we give them a goal to really press towards, I often say I've never met someone that arrives to a destination safely by driving, looking in the rear view mirror. And that's the reason why the front mirror or the front window is so much bigger, is because, you know, we're pressing on towards the prize of the higher calling that is within us. And we forget those things which are behind, pressing on towards a higher goal and a higher mark. So we don't put our hand to the plow and look back, because the coaching principle is, or the concept is, when you put your hand to a plow to go forward, you don't look back because you veer off. So, and it's a biblical principle. That's why it says, don't put your hand to a plow and look back. You keep focused on where you're going. Find a coach, hire Linda, you know, and really, because what a coach does, there's an accountability measure that is needed, you know, because when you just feel, when you are around an association of people that they just know you as that, there's what is called familiarity, and it breeds contempt. You can't do some things. It's hard to change around people that are familiar with you, because, oh, that's just Linda Hillman. That's little Linda, you know, she did this when she was younger. And, oh, if you knew Linda when she was, and all of this talk when you're trying to have a business, and then people want to come in and say, oh, that's this, that's this, that's this. So sometimes it's just good to get away, hire a coach that doesn't know you, and yet they know the excellence and what can come up out of you. So, and then that's what they zone in on, and they bring the best out of you. And that's what a coach does, even a sports coach, you know, so if you look at it that way. So that's kind of what I do. It's what Linda does. And both of us are really using the platform as Blab, because this is what Linda just did today, whether you know it or not. There's seeds planted. She did coaching within her own explanation of what is a transformational empowerment coach, because she gave you principles. And what that does is it goes into the mindset, because faith cometh by hearing, and what you heard today are seeds sown. Now, whether you apply them or not, Linda can't control that. So, you know, the discount and everything of what she gave you, it's one of those things. It's the choice is now yours. You know, do you really want a better tomorrow, or do you just want your tomorrow to look like today? Where is 2017, January the 19th going to look like? If you want something different, you've got to do something different. So that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love that. And I use that analogy too about looking in the rearview mirror. And, you know, if you're going backwards, you have to look, you know, in the mirror so you can see what's around you, but you don't stay there. You keep it moving. That's why the windshield is there. So I see Susan is here, and I wanted to just say thank you, Susan, for stopping in. I'm looking forward to everything lining up so I can go on this cruise with her. I believe it's in May. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what she's doing. She's Identity Mag, because I like giving shouts out.
I want to go on a cruise. Can we all go on?
I don't know. Can men go?
Is it special? Is it only for women?
Well, no, someone said they were bringing their husband too. So I guess men can go if you pay.
The conference is for women.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that will give me time away from the women. I'll be out laying on the deck while you guys are all in
oh,
there.
you're bringing your twins too. Cool.
Linda, I wanted to give another thing that back to that rear view mirror. Have you ever noticed rear view mirrors state objects in the mirror appear closer than what they really are? I use that too, because a lot of times the things in our past, they're so magnified in our thinking sometimes that they appear bigger than what they really are. And you're like, come on, that's in the past. You know, I work with clients that they almost discuss things as if it just happened yesterday. And I'm like, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. When did that happen? Well, when I was 12. I'm like, girl, you're 53 now. What are you doing? You know, so I love that analogy too. Like the things in the mirror, the past aren't as big as you might think they are. Let's get past that, you know? So loved it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And I thank you guys for popping in